The company is bootstrapped. That's another good thing. We haven't raised even a single dime to date. We've been seeing 100% CAGR for the last 5 years. Last year, we hit 110%. This year, we are trying another 110, 120%.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Cash Machines, and we have a banger on today. We have Adnan Malik, who's the founder CEO of Software Finder, and this company is doing roughly 20 million in revenue, 15 to 20% margins, fully bootstrapped, launched in 2019. So we can, I guess, safely assume they're doing between 3 and 4 million in revenue, though most of that is going back into the company to ensure that roughly 100% year-on-year revenue growth they are experiencing. So in this episode, we tried to understand exactly how they're able to do that. So let's jump into this episode with Adnan right now. Quick one, we talked about Raylo last month, and honestly, it's become our go-to for team tech. Every time we hire someone or bring on a contractor, instead of dropping a huge amount up front, we just subscribe to the latest tech through Raylo Business. This month, we've been looking at the new HP laptops, and with a MacBook Pro 5 rumors floating around, it's nice knowing we can upgrade without being locked in. It's a simple way to keep the team feeling motivated and equipped. The link is in the show notes. Adnan, welcome to the show.
It's good to be here.
So Software Finder, I've been digging into the business over the past 24 hours, and I am super interested in the model and how you're able to make money, essentially. But it would be great for the audience to understand at like a high level how you guys make money.
Great question. So Software Finder is basically a B2B software marketplace. We connect buyers and sellers in the B2B software space. So in a nutshell, if Tom, your company is looking for HR software, we'll connect you to top 3 or top 5 software options that are best suitable for your needs. And all of this is done through a human consultation. So we'll spend about 10 minutes with you, where our team member will spend time, on an average about 10 minutes, asking all the right questions in terms of what you're looking for, why you're looking to switch, how much budget you have, and, read between the lines to better understand your requirements. And then out of the hundreds of HR software options out there, we'll recommend you the top 3 and top 5 that you should be looking at. So basically, we saved maybe months of your research time that you'll probably do online through ChatGPT, Google, and so many different places. And still, you might not end up choosing the top 3 or top 5 that are best suitable for your needs. So that's the service for the buyer. The service is absolutely free for the buyer. We do not charge anything to the buyer. The top 3 or top 5 software options that we would recommend you will share vendor your information, and then their team will reach out to you next. And hence we charge a vendor for the service because they're the one who's going to end up making money from the buyer anyway. So it makes more sense to charge vendors for the service. So yeah, in a nutshell, absolutely free for the buyer, and we charge vendors for the service.
Makes sense. And so you get to sell the lead between 3 and 5 times. And roughly, like, if I was a HR vendor, how much would I pay for a lead? Like, roughly, is it like $50 or $500?
So it ranges depending on the size of the organization. The bigger the size, more the licenses that you will be selling as a vendor. So the lead cost starts from anywhere from $80 to $100 per lead and goes all the way up to about $900 a lead, depending on the size of the organization.
Yeah, it makes sense. If I have like 5,000 employees and I need 5,000 seats on the HR software, then obviously I'm more valuable. Makes total sense. And just to give the audience a sense of like the size of the company, could you give us a range on the revenue?
So this year we're expecting anywhere from 20 to 25 million.
Fantastic. And roughly, like rough profit margin, because I understand you guys are profitable, right?
We are. So the company is bootstrapped. That's another good thing. We haven't raised even a single dime to date. Our profit margin anywhere from 15 to 20%.
That's excellent. Because I was thinking there might have been some capital invested at some point externally, but no, it was just that any initial capital came from you and any co-founders.
That is correct. So we started with our own funds that we saved in our previous lives, bootstrap the company. And the good thing is that, we were profitable not profitable. I mean, the revenue stream started generating good revenue stream from year 1. So we never looked back and we never thought about raising capital.
Absolutely fantastic. And what was that first year? Which year was it?
2019, right before COVID.
Cool. Okay. Has the revenue growth gone up in like a straight line? Like maybe it's 1 million in the second year and then maybe like 4 million, 8 million, or did it spike in any of those years?
Yeah, so we've been seeing 100% CAGR for the last 5 years. Last year we hit 110%. This year we are trying another 110, 120%. But almost every year we were anywhere from 90 to 110% growth year on year.
Great. So it could have been like 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 roughly.
Yeah, so we started with about, first year was really, really slow. And then in 2020, it was, I think, about 0.4 million or something like that. 2019, most of the things were happening, building the product, and it was the middle of 2019. So revenue started generating towards the end of 2019, but our first major year was 2020.
Fantastic. So now I'd like to try and understand like how you guys have been able to grow and remain profitable over these years. And from my research, I think I have a couple of them. So I'll run them past you and then you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. But maybe the first one is getting the leads cheaply, primarily through SEO. I think that's going to be one. Is that right? Would you say top 3?
That is one, but SEO is not the biggest play out there for us because SEO takes a lot of time, as you would know. It took, anywhere from 3 to 4 years for SEO to really kick in. And in this business, if you're only selling leads, you're not going to wait for SEO to kick and then you're going to start making revenue. So we do a lot of outbound, we do a lot of paid advertisement in order to generate leads. So it's not only organic. I mean, it sounds like it would be huge organic, but it is not.
Interesting. So the paid ads, presumably that would be Google.
A lot of it goes to Google, Microsoft, some social media, but yes, I would say 70, 80% is Google.
Makes sense. And then on the outbound, would you just go to a company and be like, hey, are you looking to buy any types of software? Would you know they're looking for HR software and then jump in and see if you can advise them?
Yeah, so it's backed by a lot of signals. So we do some email marketing. We also do, like your white paper campaigns, your webinars. So we try to generate a lot of signals at the back end where, we get some sort of a knowledge that there might be some buying intent. And then we reach out. We also do a lot of phone campaigns, as you said, but a lot of this is backed by a lot of good signals that we generate and we buy from, many different partners.
And I assume the best customer is a procurement lead at a large company that will just keep coming back to you quarter after quarter with new requirements.
That is right. But the funny thing is, if you're looking for HR software, it will be your HR manager. If you're looking for, new email marketing software, it will be someone in your marketing team. If you're looking for project management software, it will be someone who's, leading your projects. So it's not one person. It's always someone different because these domains are very different. B2B software domains are totally different. I mean, I wish it was one person and they keep coming back to us. Person comes later. Yes.
Makes sense. Because on the cost side, obviously a core competency for you guys is getting the leads cheap. And you're saying it's not just SEO, but it's these other activities as well. Before we move on to the next thing that I think is one of your competitive advantages, can we talk about the SEO strategy? Because from my research, it seems like a lot of your traffic comes from the names of the software companies that you represent.
That is correct.
And so you're essentially potentially even ranking higher than their homepage, collecting the lead and then selling it to them. Is that happening?
Yes, at times we do. So SEO, we invested heavily since day one. The entire project was, SEO driven project. So I would say the first 4 years, there were not many fruits, but we were very patient. We were doing all the right things. And then slowly it started to pick up. Now we have about 100,000 pages on our website, maybe more now. We have about 1,200 software categories, and we do a lot of comparisons and alternatives and those sort of articles as well. The biggest traffic that we generate they come from the brand searches. So for example, Salesforce pricing or Salesforce demo or your HubSpot pricing or demo. So, but having said that, we were also seeing in the last 12 months, we get a lot of traffic for when people are comparing. So, your HubSpot versus Salesforce sort of keywords. And then we also do very well when it comes to your generic keywords like top 10 legal management software or top 10 medical software or HR software. So every keyword is totally different strategy that we have to place on our end in order to grow. And I would say in the last few years, we're also getting a lot of traffic from LLMs now as well. We were ready when LLMs and the whole AI came in. They're consuming a lot of our content. So we got that early advantage that many other organizations didn't have because LLMs love content. We are all about content. So it worked really to our advantage.
Yeah, I can see here I have Ahrefs open and I see we have 1.6 thousand citations from Gemini, 1.1 thousand from ChatGPT. Was there anything that you did on the content of your pages that you thought was going to help with AI search and then you found that it has helped with AI search?
I directly does not manage this. Our CMO is more hands-on onto those things, but we hired the right talent a couple of years ago in order to ensure that our website is technically well placed and our content strategy is in place in order for us to appear on LLMs. I know there were many changes and it seems like those changes work to our advantage and now we're getting traffic from LLMs.
Yeah, I'm on one of the pages for a SaaS company I won't mention, but it's very like content rich. We have reviews here. We have like your guys' opinion. I've got the lead form scrolling down the side. It's interactive. I can click on something to watch a demo. So yeah, I make like the content here is excellent. Let's move on then. So obviously getting cheap leads is a key factor for you guys. The other cost, presumably is significant, is going to be the cost of the advisors. So these are the people that are having the calls with the buyers. I understand you're essentially not paying, or I don't think you're paying like Western people loads of money to do those calls. Was that a conscious decision to manage the cost of the business?
I mean, it is. Obviously, there is a lot of training, a lot of great talent that we need who can quickly understand buyers' requirements and then recommend them top 3 to top 5 that they should be looking at. So yes, it was a conscious effort to, we need to develop a big pool of talent who understand these markets very well and can recommend as per buyers' demand. The biggest challenge that we face is as we keep on growing category to category, these categories are just so vast. I mean, their entire world within each category, from HR to project management to ERP to medical. I mean, you can't find one person who can understand all of these categories. So you rightly pointed out that, this is probably one of the biggest expense centers but that's the mission of the company. The gap we were trying to fulfill was that when we started, there were hardly any company out there who can provide you a phone consult without any cost and recommend you top 3 to 5 in 10 minutes. And it is such an important decision in any buyer's journey to choose the right vendor because a lot of your growth and company's momentum depended on the software these days. And most people didn't realize this, but studies show that 70 to 80% of B2B software buyers are dissatisfied after purchasing. So 3 out of 4 people, they're dissatisfied after purchasing. What really happens is they're not only losing cost in terms of license costs, but there's a huge cost associated at the back end, training the users, implementation, your implementation consultants who gets involved, doing integrations, and there's so many hidden costs. And plus, if implement the wrong technology, company can easily lose momentum and growth. And I've seen company end up going bankrupt because they chose the wrong software.
It's a very important decision for sure, especially like HR software CRMs. And I think we're in agreement that the skill set of the advisors is important for you guys. My question was more about whether you purposefully didn't hire these people in the UK to manage the costs. Is that accurate?
We are not a very heavy UK-driven organization. We are more US anyway. So we have people in US who are doing this, and we also have people in South Asia who are trained. So it depends on where we find the talent. As I said, because every category is unique, it's not easy to find talented consultants if we just restrict geographically to one location.
Makes sense. So we have ability to get leads cheaply, having an excellent group of advisors at the right cost. Is there anything else that you think you guys do that has enabled this growth?
A lot. First of all, I think growing from one category to another was the biggest decision, which I think we took at the right time because every category has a certain amount of growth that you can take. So the good thing is that we are continue to grow, I would say 5 to 10 major categories every year. We couldn't have achieved 100% growth rate if we were not following this pattern. So that's one of the biggest drivers.
So you didn't strategically try to approach every category of B2B software at the start. You pick, let's say 10, and then you've expanded every year, and that's how you can find the growth. Presumably because you have to train advisors on the category, you have to work out how to get those leads, etc. Is that right?
Yeah. And the vendors as well.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because if we have leads and vendors not buying, then, it's such a wastage.
Obviously, there's a cost there to get the vendors on. Presumably, is relatively low because every vendor wants more customers, or they want a flat cost for a lead.
Correct. So getting vendors is the easiest bit. Getting buyers is more challenging because we have to produce in volume in order to serve the vendors. So, but having said that, now the brand is established, so getting vendors are easier. A lot of buyers are coming to us organically or through branding as well. That, now the word is going out there that there is a company called Software Finder. If I'm looking for software, let's just go there. They're going to help me make a decision in 10 minutes where I'm going to end up spending months researching and booking all these demos. And maybe I'm not even picking the top 5 that I should be picking.
Makes total sense. Anything else that you think has helped with the growth?
I would say getting the right team is very important. Whenever anyone is developing marketplace, it's a difficult business to venture into. There's a lot of industries that you have to learn. There's a lot of moving parts. You rely on a lot of external factors in order to produce these leads. So I think one of the major growth factors is we were able to build a very talented team, especially in the last 2 to 3 years when we were seeing a lot of growth. Getting to your 5 to 10 million is easier, but doubling from that point is always very difficult. So now that we have surpassed that, the process is matured, we have the right teams in place. I think strategy is the key. How we're going to buy leads, from where we're going to buy leads. And for every industry is different. From one to other industries, it's not the same play. Like you don't have a playbook. For every industry, the playbook keeps on changing because the different buyers that think differently, they go to different places because the way doctors think when they're buying software is totally different to how your HR manager will think when they're buying HR software. So the playbook on our end, how to generate leads, needs to redevelop for every industry. So yeah, in terms of growth, we've been blessed to have a really great team with the excellent leadership that we've developed in the last 5-6 years. And I think now the next 100% growth seems more easier than in previous years. And we are trying another 100% growth this year and the next year. So let's see how it does.
So aiming to double from roughly 20 to up to 40 next year.
Correct.
Fantastic. So to summarize then, get good low-cost leads, have great advisors, build a team that can help you keep doing 100% per year, and then strategically approach different categories as to help with the scale, which obviously comes with working out how to find leads for each category as well. Final question is, what are you doing with the cash that's produced from the business to keep it growing?
So we reinvest almost everything that we save or we make. And if we don't do it, then next 100% is not going to be easier. So we invest a lot in terms of building teams, in terms of hiring more people for newer categories that we want to target next year. So it's a lot of spend that we have to make. If we're not growing at 100%, then, maybe we can do something about from that cash that we will save every year. And we're also thinking of acquiring few companies this year or next year. So we are in the market. We're looking for companies that, maybe doing something similar at a smaller scale. And, we're always looking for partners, but we're also looking to acquire companies this year.
Yeah, especially if they've worked out how to get leads in specific sectors and you just buy them, send all the leads, and that's like immediate revenue, but also knowledge as well.
Yeah, or they have an excellent SEO team or knowledge.
Exactly, yeah. That would really shortcut revenue growth. Makes total sense. It's a fantastic story. My favorite business story is bootstrapped, high growth, profitable, and everything here is exactly that. So Adnan, I want to thank you for coming on and being so honest and open with the numbers, etc., and the business. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys double again next year.
Thank you for having me. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. Thank you, Tom.
Okay, team, what do we think? Epic story, an epic piece of business. SEO is very important. Having a great advisor pool is also very important. Super interesting, and massive shout out to Adnan for coming on and being so honest with all those numbers. I want to give a big shout out to Fame for promoting and producing this show, and then a massive shout out to you for listening.